caught me on my phone. Give me a second. I'm waiting for this live stream to hit my, look at that, time interview with Documentally. This is a hashtag rich. I'm just going to retweet this on the off chance that you've arrived. You're not watching this after the event, you're actually watching this live. So I'm going to retweet that now, and I can put my phone away and concentrate on you. We're having a workshop outside. Tomorrow, over there, quick flash over to where I'm pointing, which is the other side of the Tyne. That massive organic looking mirrored structure is the Sage in Gateshead. We're currently in Newcastle, and tomorrow Thinking Digital is kicking off proper, actually tonight at the big party dinner. But I'm with
William Mortardo, Stuart Felson,
Anna Brand,
Brent Woods,
Caroline Hall, Isla Wilson,
Ian Smith,
Emma Cragg.
and we'll save John for a moment. And we've been doing a workshop, and John gladly, kindly rocked up so that we could use him as a victim subject for an interview, because when it comes to documenting, capturing, recording on mobile devices, John is someone who's been doing it to the extreme recently. John Gill.
Hello, how's it going?
On the Superfly on Twitter.
Where do you want me to start? So yeah, recently I've been making, well, the last 3 months I've been capturing an art project in Dundee called Open Close Dundee, and it was the brainchild. Well, actually, it was the brainchild of Russell Pepper, which is a good name, and he was influenced by a similar project in Aberdeen, and he was dead keen on there being a mural trail around Dundee. But that's really difficult to set up, and so they realised the way to make it happen is to start small. So they speak to local businesses and get permission to paint back doors in closes, which is why it's more of a Scottish thing. Open, it looks like open close. It's actually open close. So a back alley in Scotland is called a close. But of course it carries all sort of connotations of doors opening and closing, and opening your eyes to new. Sorry, opening your eyes to new areas of the city, and I just found it really interesting, and I was looking for something to capture. I make lots of short form videos for Twitter and various social media channels, and I wanted to prove that with just a mobile device and an iPad in particular, with iMovie installed on it, you can capture and edit and share feature and film.
Now, short form now is shorter than it has ever been, isn't it? Short form used to be 3 minutes, now some people say it's 30 seconds. How much of your skills that you developed around creating short form content, how many of those skills are directly transferable for you to then go on and do something bigger, a feature film?
I think, well, so there's two things. Partly that remains to be seen, because when people see this hour-long video, and I've spent so long making short videos, there are sections in it that feel like short videos just dropped into a bigger story. But I was making videos on VHS cameras like 20 odd years ago, so I've kind of come full circle. I was used to making bigger stuff and boring people senseless. I really liked getting into that sort of quick editing and getting something down to at least a minute so that you can put it out on, Instagram's the common denominator, lowest common denominator. So partly it remains to be seen, but partly it's going back to just being able to sort of take in, instead of 3 second edits, just having the luxury of taking it, a site, whether it's a view, a piece of artwork, a conversation. I've loved it. I've loved it. It's going to be a struggle restricting myself back to a minute.
The geek in me wants to know what kind of mobile kit, what kind of gear you used when you were shooting and capturing. Can you physically show us?
I can physically show you.
You do that now. Anybody out there? Anybody asking questions? Please do. And if you do, the very kind person behind the camera, let's flip it around. Didn't
Hello.
expect that, did you?
We've got 14 people, that's quite good.
14, is that all? Well, obviously it's the certain time of the day where everybody's probably thinking of going to the pub, which we were on the way to not too long ago. We need to get there before 5 o'clock actually. So while John gets his gear out, I will get nerdy and tell you that we're using John's iPhone. We have a microphone, the Sennheiser hand mic digital, plugged in. There's a lot of wind. I don't know if it's very windy to you there, but I put a spoffle on top. Even though there's some kind of internal windshield on this microphone, I thought a bit of extra coverage should be good. There's a limiter built into this. I'm not sure what the audio quality is like out there. It would be great if somebody could tell me audio is okay, audio is good, audio is great, audio is amazing, and then I'll know that this is probably the right combination for the wind coming across the river. Ready to go?
Okay,
Look at that.
We get Meta.
It's only just mobile.
I'm going to get Meta and start recording as we. Right, so
Across the streams.
I'm probably in this respect I'm probably the anti-documentally, because whereas Christian has a bag full of the most expensive, he's probably got a small mortgage in that bag. I'm cheap. So, and there's the simple reason for that is the workshops I tend to do are with people who are starting out. And if you want to get into this, it can be expensive. I mean, just getting the device is really expensive. So everything else tends to be about a tenner. And the reason for that is I lose stuff, I tread on it, it gets pinched. And you know, until I've tried stuff out, I think it's a reasonable way to go. So the iPad is the only sort of really new and expensive thing. It's an iPad Pro, so that I could use the
About £800.
yeah 620. I got I sadly I got the lowest. I cheaped out. I got a limited budget and I bought a keyboard instead of getting more memory. Should have got more memory.
Always.
But the great thing about the Pro is I bought the pencil, and like you were saying earlier, you can screen grab. So I've got a couple of drawing apps. I know the titles are really limited in iMovie, so I just draw my own and animate them.
I recommend an app called Font. Should you ever want to add additional additional text and titles, so it doesn't look like you've just done it in iMovie. Font is amazing for the money. Just a few quid for all the bolt-ons, but really does enable you to do custom graphics and font.
So again, really lightweight tripod, which I use almost as much as a Steadicam. Just having a little bit of weight in the device means that I can walk around and it's not as jerky as like just holding the iPad. And the other thing I really like, this is constantly in my pocket. I love Instagram, and I've been using this all day. This is just again, it's MPOW.
Yeah.
It's a really good quality lens. There's very little sort of difference between, you know, as soon as you put more glass in front of the lens, you lose light, and the quality barely noticeable with this.
And this is just giving you a wider
And
angle,
this is
so you can get closer.
So this is super wide. So it's like 120 degrees,
gives it a
which is
GoPro
really
look.
nice. Yeah, sort of cinematic. So occasionally just flip in between regular camera and the wide angle, because the iPad Pro is such high res. You can crop into your frame as well. So another good tip is that just keep your frame nice and wide when you're filming, because when you're editing you can pinch into it. Because it's 4K, I'm only exporting to 1K, so that gives me a lot of scope in the canvas just to crop in, still really good quality, but it enables you with one shot to sort of create that sort of two-shot effect.
What are you doing for audio?
Again, I've got a sort of fairly cheap mic. I always keep 2 or 3.
Because they break? Because
They
cheap?
break. Well, I had. Get this. I was interviewing a reporter from Vanity Fair, Italy. Not just Vanity Fair, Italy. And I got so excited. This fella from halfway down the street, I could tell he was from Vanity Fair. His shirt was unbuttoned to here. It was Scotland. It was like 3 degrees.
If you're watching now, he loves you really.
Raphael, he was brilliant, and this is how brilliant he was. I was so excited after doing this interview. It was perfect. So all the conditions were perfect. Rushed home, said to my wife, "You won't believe this. I just spoke to this fella from Vanity Fair, Italy. He was like Michael Hutchence. He was magnetic on the screen." I fired up my iPad, pressed play, and just you can see me setting the mic up with him, and it dies, and I've got no sound. And fortunately I knew where they were, so I rushed across like an hour later, and he did the whole thing again for me. It was a complete start. Wow. But it's just, you know, I've tried
things like that really teach you quickly.
Yes. And being able to, I mean, I still haven't found a really solid app for being able to monitor audio while I'm filming. I think that's the sort of thing that I would really like to.
Filmic Pro.
I tried Filmic, it didn't work. Filmic Pro.
It's buried right in the settings.
Oh yeah, I found it just, but I keep getting feedback, so I've not worked out why.
Okay, we can look at that, but it might be that the microphone isn't TRRS, it might only be TRS.
Right.
But yeah, lots of playing. I work with the cheap, there's lav mics for £10, but this is for me the ultimate for a phone. Probably won't fit on your iPad just because of the stretch limitations. But yeah, if you are going to be doing a lot of it, it is worth investing a little bit more. But this stuff isn't cheap, and yet when I look at what some of the things doing nowadays for a couple of £100, you've potentially got a microphone for life. I hope. I'm yet to find out. So this is the gear.
Yep.
Really impressive. How do people kind of take to you when you turn up with an iPad and a tripod? Is there a question that you are a professional, or they just assume that this is the done deal now?
So it's been a mix. And I think one of the reasons that I got into using the phone, going back sort of 7 or 8 years ago, I would be documenting my own projects for my own purposes. And I noticed that, first of all, the reaction, getting somebody on film, it's not easy convincing somebody to talk to you on film. I noticed there was a marked difference when I pulled out a phone or an iPad to even just a DSLR. People are a lot more comfortable sitting and talking to an iPhone. So I found that from an anthropological point of view, I found that really interesting. The question is, I was interviewing somebody from Scottish prisons last year, and I pulled out the iPad, and he said, "Oh, you should have said, I would have got you a real camera." And I was polite, and I said, "Well, yeah, it'll be fine." So yeah, there is a question of that. I think that's going to change in time. I think the Mojo movement is, you know, there is so much good stuff out there that people don't even realise is shot on a mobile. I'm kind of drawing attention to it, but there's loads of people who are just doing it and not even saying.
And sometimes they're not saying because they don't want to belittle the project that they're doing, and yet you can shoot 4K. Quick plug for the Mojo Festival. Mojo Festival happening, is it next week? In the most amazing musical part of Ireland. Can anybody tell me where Mojo Fest is? I've completely forgotten. It's a couple of hours south, if that, of Dublin, but it's amazing. It's going to come to me in a moment. But yeah, I recommend it. All the like, mobile journalists, trainers, and there are people training Android. Both of them will be there. Both Android trainers in a room full of iPhone trainers. Just, unfortunately, that's the way that the coding has gone. Where can people check out your film? Obviously, they can find you on the Superfly, so all of the releases, where it's going to be, where it's going to be shown. But you might be putting it on the internet, but not yet.
Yes, so it's definitely going to end up on the internet at some point over the next couple of days. So first of all, on the Superfly, if you're anywhere on Twitter, if you use the hashtag #OpenCloseMovie, you'll find loads of little snippets and a trailer. On Saturday morning in Dundee, there's a screening. So we're going to be plugging the iPad itself into the digital projector at the cinema. 200-seater cinema. I think we've sold maybe half of that. So come on, locals. So that's the first thing. Get that out of the way, and then we'll see. There's already a couple of community screenings planned for the next couple of weeks. After that's gone, we'll wait and see. I don't want to spoil it for anybody by putting the whole thing out there just yet, but it will definitely be getting out there. definitely find it on my Twitter feed.
Are you hanging around for the festival?
For the rest of this, I'm not because I'm actually running a workshop in Glasgow on Friday, so I need to get back.
So we have to probably take you for a beer now and then let you go. We're going to be going to a pub called The Tyne. That's easy. Imaginatively named after the river we're stood next to. I want to say thank you very much for watching. Were there any questions, or was everybody just totally absorbing and thoroughly entertained?
Blown.
Totally mind blown. Don't forget, you can check out the hashtag TDC18, TDC18 for more about Thinking Digital 2018, and we will finish the video with a fast pan to the Sage. That's moving the camera really quickly to the right. There we go. And then we fade out to black. And then I take my hand away so that we can actually close it properly. Lovely. Pull down on the screen and click stop broadcast.